I discovered through a lot of inquiries that I got from potential clients and potential even groups that were talking about traveling together. A lot of people don't really know what they're looking for. Because of that, I created a travel personality assessment. We spend time getting to know one another. I like to give them the report that they can keep, which has recommendations for destinations, has recommendations for hotels or cruise lines that also will be beneficial and provide value for years to come because they'll be able to reference that like in their travels decades from now.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of More Clients, Less Effort. My guest today has always had a love of exploration and travel. This has led her to become a lifelong student of history, culture, and instilled a wanderlust that compels her to be continually searching for exciting and unique things to see and do around the world. Even exploring the Disneyland was an adventure for her. So she got hired to give tours for the world famous Jungle Cruise and the Disneyland Railroad, working at the Disneyland Resort for 3 years. There, a love for people and service blossomed in Lindsay, along with a drive to learn from those she comes into contact with. This has brought forth a desire to share her knowledge and enthusiasm with others by assisting them in creating their own incredible travel memories. Lindsay completed her educational courses to become a virtuoso affiliate luxury travel advisor and founded favours Custom Travel in the spring of 2021. Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, that was a little bit of a mouthful. Almost tripped over a few things there, but exciting. I love travel. I'm a mad travel fiend just like you. I want to kick things off with your most memorable travel location.
Travel location?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't really pick one, obviously. I have certain memories that bring to life a certain place that I was in. Probably my favorite trip was to New Zealand, actually. So close to your neck of the woods. And I went with both my parents, and that's why it was extra special for me. My father has since passed, so some of those memories are just priceless.
Yeah. Why is it do you think people don't get out of their comfort zone and travel?
I can understand being nervous, especially when you live in such a big country like the US or like Australia. There's so much to do and see inside your own country that I think that a lot of times people are just nervous of going to a different culture and experiencing new foods or new traditions that they may not quite feel integrated with. But I think that that is one of the most special things about travel. And honestly, it helps open your horizons in so many different ways.
I completely agree with that. Okay, awesome. Now that we got it out of the way, I was actually thinking that one of my travel memories was Finland, Japan, New Zealand. Beautiful country, New Zealand. Travel to New Zealand, you're listening, do the trip. It's fantastic. Take me back, right? Where did your sort of, I guess, first travel adventures, and let's talk about how do we get this desire to experience new things.
Well, I actually grew up traveling.
Mm.
So I've been to, gosh, I think 47 of the states. And I had by the time I was about 16. So I grew up homeschooled. And with that, my mom was always really into travel. My parents enjoyed it. So we traveled a lot. And because I wasn't tied to a specific location on my school, they taught me on the road.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. What did your parents do?
So my mom was a stay-at-home mom slash homeschool mom. And then my dad actually worked in a few different industries, but he did automotive and he also was a ministry pastor for a number of years.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things when we look at like our influences from our parents in terms of how we choose our career path or our life path. And I love that you've taken something that was so special to you as a kid and something you shared with your parents so often that you've now actually turned that into a business. And I think many people can be quite afraid of, because if you turn your love into a business and all of a sudden you fall out of love with the thing that got you there in the first place. I want to know, because your business is relatively new, what have you learned about, I guess, travel that you didn't know before? Do you have a different perspective on travel and adventure now that you're an agent, a travel agent, as opposed to a tourist?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the time when I travel now, it's for my business and it's with the industry. So I'll be going to visit different tour groups or hotels, resorts, cruise lines that are trying to showcase their services or showcase their location. So it's very different than the travel I've done for leisure or for growing up. That was more budget. Now I'm a lot more in the luxury sphere. So I'm seeing kind of what I like personally in my own trips. Just last year for my birthday, I did a trip where I did both. I did some work where I was going to doing tour sites and doing, well, actually they're called site tours. Doing site tours with providers that I meet with or that I've known before in the past and I haven't seen their facility. And then I also did kind of a little bit of my own for like on my actual birthday and the day before and did some exploration and just kind of stayed in a roadside motel kind of thing. So completely vastly different between the five-star luxury and then kind of the cheapest budget place that I could find. And I find that I really enjoy both and I kind of see the benefits of both. So that's my own personal way of traveling. I like to learn about the culture a lot and the history. And a lot of times when you're just sticking to like the luxury sites or the resorts, you don't really get to integrate into the culture as much.
Mm.
So personally, I like doing both.
Yeah, I think it's that juxtaposition. Talking about the business, right? What was the catalyst for starting your business? What have you learned in the 3 years? Obviously, as an industry, travel was super affected by COVID. And just as you're getting started, what have you learned? Tell me about the business. Tell me what the challenges you've had because of, I guess, the industry disruption from the pandemic and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I got into the business in a really good time because it was just when travel was bouncing back. And there's a lot of agents that had retired, agencies that closed down. And now, actually, people saw the benefit of using an advisor when they travel, the benefit of needing travel insurance and things like that because of the pandemic. So the industry is growing exponentially on a yearly basis. So it's actually been really good for me starting when I did. And then I also learned from, I have a couple mentors that are in the business that have been here for 30 plus years. And so they also help me as well. They have a very full client list. They've got everything where they have routines and their own way of doing things. So I learn from them as well. I work in an office with them, and that's been very helpful.
Yeah, so you're in an office with other travel agents as well. How do you
Hmm.
work? Because I guess one of the things we often do when we're in business, we kind of get very protective of our little patch of opportunity. We kind of like, this is mine, right? How does that work with you working with other travel agents? Is it unique to the travel industry that people are more collaborative, or is it something else?
Yeah, absolutely. People are very collaborative. And because we all have our kind of niches and our specialties, both by destination or by type of travel group that we're going through, are the providers that we use on the ground. Yeah, we're all very helpful with one another. So
Yeah.
that's been really good as well. I think also too, because there is a need for agents right now, and the industry is growing, we're not having to like have a death grip on every client because if we really desire to serve our clients best of all and if we know that our other agent is going to be better because she knows the destination more or she is used to working with a certain provider that this client wants to work with, then it's totally fine giving that over to them so that our client gets the best service as possible.
Yeah, love that. What are some of the lessons you've learned in the 3.5 years of business that you've been going so far? What are some of the key moments that you would share with maybe a new business owner?
Well, number one, I think, and I think this applies both to owning a business and it also applies to travel in general, is that nothing ever goes exactly according to plan. Like you always have to prepare for unexpected bumps in the road or even unexpected opportunities. There's so many times that a client has their taxi hasn't shown up just for a basic pickup or something like that that as an agent we're responsible for making sure that our client is being taken care of even while they're at their destination. It's not just planning the trip, but it's also being there as a resource for them their entire trip. So just kind of constantly knowing that, and I prepare my clients as well, especially those who haven't traveled very much. Obviously, well-traveled people know that there's always going to be hiccups along the road. But for those who are newer or they're nervous about going international or something like that, having been prepared a little bit, knowing that there will be things that go wrong, anything from small stuff to potentially big things like a pandemic, like there's always going to be problems to solve. And I think that applies to business as well.
So true. Like I took a trip out to Singapore and the Philippines late last year in December. And one of the things that popped up literally in Singapore while we were there, we were expecting pickup to take us to the airport that morning. And we're like literally standing at the counter going, we haven't received a text message to say that they're on their way. What's going on? Do we wait? Do we order another cab? And so on. And oddly enough, texting our travel agent through their little travel app, turn around and the guy's standing there going, oh, it's him, I'm here to pick you up. Like, oh, dude, right? Like,
He's waiting for you right there. That's good. That's an easy one.
serendipitous because we're literally texting our agent and say, can you find out where this person is? And then magically you're right behind them.
Oh, that's so funny.
But I think it's one of those things, yeah, like people, I think there's a general fear that travel agents is going to cost us a lot more. And that's not the case, is it?
No, actually, one of the best things about using a travel advisor is really the value that we provide. Because not only do we provide the services of helping you build your itinerary and knowing some of the best places to go, some of the things that might really speak to your group or your travel personality, but also we get discounts for our clients often at hotels or on cruise lines. We get shipboard credit. There's a lot of perks that we're able to pass on to our clients that really add to the value of your trip.
Mm.
So, one of the I think that's one of the benefits of using an advisor more than anything is really that it adds value.
Yeah, it adds a lot of value because you've got access to things that people wouldn't otherwise get access to, or tips and tricks that they wouldn't otherwise get access to. And I think it's part of, if we look at, I guess, the opportunities for us as business owners trying to build wealth and freedom through the vehicle of business, we do need to surround ourselves with trusted advisors to help us achieve better outcomes. In the same way that you would get a lawyer to do your legal contracts and you get your accountant to do your tax returns and maybe some CFO business advisory kind of work. And you would go and employ your marketing company to provide expertise in marketing as we do travel, right? Our staff travel, we travel as owners as well. And it makes sense to actually have a really good agent, travel advisor or travel agent in your portfolio of advisors to help you achieve that wealth and freedom, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spend hours and hours and hours kind of worry about like flights and like connecting things and how long do I need between stuff. I'm like, just take care of that. I'm going to go and do this thing that I'm really good at. That
Yeah, yeah,
and
having an expert in the field is so helpful, and no matter what field it is, like you said, like financial or marketing or real estate or something like that, just having someone that knows what they're doing, it feels so much more comforting to you, knowing that you're going to be getting the best services. And then also, like, especially when you're talking about going to a foreign country you may not feel comfortable with, knowing that you have someone on your side who has either gone there or who has talked with the hotel owners or anything like that is just can bring so much more peace of mind.
yeah. Now, when we spoke the other day, you shared with me one of the tools that you use to really get clients interested in what you do, and that was your travel personality assessment. Firstly, what on earth is that for our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I discovered through a lot of inquiries that I got from potential clients and potential even groups that were talking about traveling together that a lot of people don't really know what they're looking for. They have an idea like, "Oh, I want to go to Europe or I want to go to Italy and drink wine or something like that." So because of that, I created a travel personality assessment where I sit down and I spend time with the client before even they're a client. Just it can actually be really beneficial for someone who just enjoys traveling as well. Where really sit down and I have a number of questions that I've put together and we spend time getting to know one another. And I have specific things that I look for so that I know really what they're going to be enjoying while they travel. And it can completely vary. And then after the conversation, I like to give them the report that they can keep which has recommendations for destinations, has recommendations for hotels or cruise lines, things that would match. And I kind of make it fun, like, oh, you're the explorer or you're the spa maven or something like that. That's going to be kind of a fun, like, personality test at the same time and like a report afterwards that also will be beneficial and provide value for years to come because they'll be able to reference that like in their travels decades from now.
Yeah. Okay. So talking about you create these little personality profiles, you give them a cool name. What's been the impact of calling them something as opposed to you like luxury, let's call you the explorer or the luxury traveler or the adventurer or something. What's
Mhm.
been from an engagement standpoint by giving it a fun name like the explorer?
I think it's just I just think it's fun. I like I worked at Disney for a number of years and so I'm kind of bouncy and like I really like to just kind of yeah, like have fun with people. Like yeah, I'm professional and an expert in my field, but I also want to just kind of build that rapport with them. And I really find that having like the fun names and having like it listed out exactly what providers would be good for them is helpful in just clarity and then also like building the rapport.
Yeah, cool. Talk to me about how you use it. Okay, so is it an online tool that someone fills out before they get to you? Is it something in books they book with you, and that's the first step that people go through? How do you use this tool in a business?
Yeah, so I have a calendar invite that we'll go over. It's about an hour and a half. So it'll be through Zoom or Google Meet. Or if they're in the area where I live in Southern California, we can meet. I can go to their house or we can meet at my office, just depending on the situation. And then, yeah, I just have go through the questions with them, get to know them, kind of have a little bit of chit chat kind of thing first.
I imagine
And
it's a very good tool for creating a bond with your client to really understand who they are and what kinds of experiences they might want to look for.
exactly. And I've used that. It helps so much when I plan their trip because then I also am able to add special experiences that they might not have thought of, or even so much as having their favorite bottle of wine delivered to the hotel room or something like that. It just adds like an extra level of service where it really is a concierge level service, like a white glove experience that having that initial meeting helps prepare me to be a better advisor in the future as well, like with them.
Yeah. Okay. I would like this idea. I think it's one of those things that if you're a little bit clever about it, you could potentially roll it into other businesses as well. So let's go with an insurance brokerage. Let's see if we can apply this idea to an insurance brokerage on the fly here. This is absolutely unscripted. Let's see if we can apply this to an insurance brokerage. So someone hits the insurance brokerage, they want professional indemnity or management liability insurance or something like that. But let's find, you might do a quiz to find out maybe their risk aversion. How risk averse are you? What do you
Yeah.
need? And so you could potentially sort of have a bit of almost like a gamification of your process, isn't it? Right? In a marketing,
Mhm.
what sort of marketer are you? Is your business? So are you young and vibrant and need to be on TikTok, or are you a little more sort of buttoned up professional and maybe you need to be on LinkedIn in terms of your marketing strategies? So
Yeah, absolutely.
and again, I think I really love the idea of, let's call it Disneyfying it by putting a fun name on it that actually people go, oh, what am I? What am I? Right. And I remember Facebook used to do this a couple of years back. There was a whole string of things for about a year and a half where it was like, well, what superhero are you or what DC
Yeah.
or what.
Yeah, BuzzFeed,
What's
like the quizzes.
yes, right. BuzzFeed quiz. What Harry Potter house are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I know you've done one of those, haven't you?
Oh yeah, Gryffindor.
Incidentally, I'm a Slytherin, I think. But yeah, it is a little bit fun, and I think when you do that sort of stuff, it's a fantastic way of breaking the ice with a client and building a bond. And it's a fun way of kind of like taking what's otherwise a very serious topic and breaking it down to make it much more accessible and playful for a person. And
Yeah.
we like that because you are actually kind of getting back to someone's passions and childhood, that, as you say, unleashing that wanderlust.
Yeah, and I would imagine for something like insurance or something like that, having sort of a fun experience for the client would also help them feel not like they're being sales to or like being sold on something. Like they're actually having a little bit of fun and making something that, yeah, like you said, might not be as exciting and making it more exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I really love it. And I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing that. We always finish up, Lindsay, with a little bit of a quick fire. Okay. And we started as well. But let's go with this. What is your travel personality?
So I haven't profiled myself, actually. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I would imagine I would be kind of the historian mixed with the explorer.
Love it. Love it. What do you think are the unique skills that you've got that have helped you be successful in business?
I think that for a business owner, one of the biggest skills you have to have is tenacity and having just an optimism. So for me, that's been helpful even when there are bumps in the road or hiccups that come up or something like that. Just having an optimism and go for it kind of attitude is definitely helpful.
Yeah. What's your favorite productivity hack?
Just my calendar, to be honest. Like I've got my calendar, I've got my planner, and it just helps a lot. Especially Southern California, I drive a lot. So knowing the drive times of things, and I'm not going to be late to meetings, stuff like that.
Yeah. If you weren't being a travel advisor, what would you like to be?
I would probably go back and work at Disney.
Okay.
I loved that. It was a ton of fun.
I can imagine. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Let's see, personally or in business? Probably from my kids. You're the best mom in the world. I'm sure every kid says that to their mom, but to me, that's the best compliment.
What do your kids think you do for work?
They love it. I try to take them traveling as much as I can. So they're excited. I try to study the places even that I send my clients. And then I also will talk with them like, oh, I've got clients right here right now. And this is what they're experiencing. This is what they're doing. My kids have whole bucket lists of places that they want to go.
Which leads me to my next question. What is one lesson that you think you've learned from travel and exploration that you think everybody should learn in their life?
Honestly, I think it is that people, no matter where you are or their language or anything like that, people are just people. Everyone is trying to build a life for themselves. Everyone's trying to build a life for their kids. It doesn't matter if that means that they're in an extremely poor country, third world, or if they're in a first world country. Like I think people are all just the same everywhere.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I think when we are exposed to one culture for a long period of time, as so many of us are day to day, we lose sight of the fact that the way we view the world is not necessarily the way other people view the world. They're just doing it from a different lens. And it doesn't lessen or invalidate their perspective. It's just different. And you want the same things in life. You want freedom of choice, safety, security, and you want a better world for your children around you.
Yeah, exactly.
Lindsay, it's been absolutely amazing having you on the show today, and I appreciate you jumping on and sharing some of the cool things that you're doing in your business. For any listeners today, Lindsay is actually offering a free travel personality assessment valued at $350. Just email Lindsay at fairbreezetravel.com. Mention you heard Lindsay on the podcast, and she'll shoot over a schedule link, which is an incredible offer. Thanks so much for sharing that with our audience today, Lindsay. And as you said, it doesn't matter whether Lindsay's in Southern California, or in Iran, or in South Africa, or in Australia, wherever you are dialing in from. That is probably a resource that will kind of really guide and help you have the most experiences that you can have on your next travel adventure. Lindsay?
Yeah, love to meet any of your listeners through a personality assessment.
That would be awesome. And guys, thanks again for joining us on today's show. If you've liked this, please share some really cool ideas that you can take away from what Lindsay's doing in her business and that you might be able to apply to your own. Please share, like, follow, and we'll catch you on another episode real soon.